Hi, my name is Jason. I'm glad to be a part of the Microsoft 365 Virtual Marathon. I'm the Group Product Manager for the Yammer team, and I'm here today to talk about the new Yammer. In this world of remote everything, our customers are discovering new ways to work and connect online. At Microsoft, we're committed to helping companies thrive, build, and rebuild in an ever-changing climate. Our mission is to help organizations and people around the planet achieve more. And each day, as we collectively rewrite the new normal, we're steadfast in our drive to ship updates and improvements to our tools that help the world stay connected and productive through the current crisis and beyond. While people have rapidly turned their attention online for both their business and personal lives, organizations are struggling with how to drive culture and a meaningful work-life experience. Yammer is committed to building experiences that connect the workforce, wherever and however they work. Organizations are struggling to align people towards a shared vision to drive organizational change, foster two-way communication, keep a pulse on the organization, and share authentic experiences with each other. Corporate communicators need a way to enable two-way communication between leaders and employees. They need to improve and streamline the change management process, reinforce the organizational culture, and get input from employees. They do this through hosting virtual all-hands meetings and live events, and by driving digital campaigns across Teams, Outlook, SharePoint, and Yammer. Resilient organizations are the ones that will be able to harness unstructured knowledge flying around the organization. Knowledge that is often expressed in conversation to those seeking answers from people across the globe they don't even know. Knowledge that today is often locked up in employees' inboxes and gets lost when they leave the organization. Modern organizations want to deliver an amazing employee experience, to attract and retain the best talent, and encourage engaged employees. They want their employees to feel a sense of belonging, connection with others, and connection to the organization through the experiences they have. These three scenarios are more important than ever for organizations to foster: communities, knowledge, and engagement. And Microsoft 365 provides you with the tools to help you drive this transformation within your organization. So what are some of the ways that we are seeing organizations engage with the new Yammer? Human Resources is using it to support flexible work styles, work from home, distributed workforces, and first-line workers. They want to streamline the employee onboarding experience through their intranet, communities, and video. Employee advocacy and resource communities give employees a voice, and knowledge and interest-based communities speed up learning. Marketing uses the new Yammer to collect and share customer feedback, collect ideas across the company with Q&A, and announce new public campaigns. IT shares information on company-wide rollouts and new technology adoptions. They create self-service support communities to ask questions and find answers, and communities to seek feedback from employees. Sales teams use the new Yammer to enable best practice sharing between employees, share competitive insights with each other, and share account intelligence. They use communities to enable distributed field reps to talk with internal product and marketing teams. Product teams can use Yammer for knowledge bases, identifying product issues, sharing feedback, and idea generation. First-line workers are kept informed and engaged, particularly through the Yammer Mobile experience. They can provide feedback and ideas to headquarters and learn about new products and initiatives. Leaders can reinforce the company mission, values, and goals with these workers. And live events unlock company experiences for people in the field or on the go. With these use cases in mind, let's talk about how we've invested in Yammer to help your organization achieve more. Late last year, we announced a new set of investments for communities, knowledge, and engagement, and we declared 2020 to be the year of Yammer. We've been rapidly releasing new features and integrations to help customers navigate this new world. The new Yammer Experience is now in public preview, and we'll talk about how you can try that experience today. We've innovated in live events and video, enabling you to host town hall events using a laptop and webcam, making it easier than before. With the new Yammer app for Teams now available, you can provide access to your employees to communities within the hub for teamwork, Microsoft Teams. Within Outlook, you can interact directly with Yammer Conversations, already available in Outlook Web and rolling out on Outlook Desktop. Integrated into SharePoint, you can provide conversation experiences that help you build a more social intranet. The SharePoint web part for the new Yammer is in the process of rolling out now. Lastly, for IT, new compliance capabilities are available as part of the new Yammer, including e-discovery support and, coming soon, data retention. So with that, let me start by doing a walkthrough of the new Yammer experience on the web. So before I show you the new Yammer experience, I want to actually start you out in today's Yammer, just to ground you in the changes that we've made. This is the Yammer that your employees use and enjoy today and connect with each other in communities. The first thing they'll see as the new Yammer becomes available to them is the ability to opt into the new Yammer here at the top in the Office 365 header. So I'm a user, I see this, great, I want to try it out. So I'm going to click here and try the new Yammer. This new Yammer experience is a modern, clean, fresh experience that really highlights the conversations that are happening within your organization. So in the middle here, you can see our new Yammer Feed. This feed is an AI and machine learning feed that uses the information that we have about your activity in Yammer and across Office 365 to present you content that you're interested in, both content from communities that you're a part of, people you're following, and things that are interesting for you to discover within the organization. In this modern feed, we have a real focus on the media that appears in that feed. So highlighting things like images, really making new types of conversations like questions shine. We have these rich image galleries. We've really modernized this feed and really made it feel like your users expect in a social product. So stepping back here and looking at this overall experience, the new Yammer is really the first Microsoft 365 service that's been redesigned from the ground up using the Fluent design system. And you know what that means, we use a lot of common elements across the suite. So we've got the Microsoft 365 suite header, of course, easy ability to switch to other apps, the common search bar across the suite with a nice autocomplete behavior for people and communities. We've really adopted all of these common elements so that when you're working across the suite, you have a very consistent experience. Now on the left over here, you can see my communities. So one of the big changes we've made in the new Yammer is really renaming groups to communities. We think this is really makes it clear what the purpose of Yammer is for. It's about connecting your employees together in communities. It's not about teamwork. It's not about a generic concept of groups, but it's really about building community. Now, as we built the new Yammer, we really listened to user feedback and looked back and said, what have our users been asking for in Yammer? And one of the things they asked for was the ability to more easily organize the communities that they're a part of here on the left side. And so we've added the ability to favorite different communities. So you can see as I scroll here, if I go over a community, there's a heart that appears. I can add a community to my favorites list easily and manage that as my list of communities grows. Now, Yammer, of course, is a tool for your organization to connect each other in communities and engage your employees. And as a tool for your organization, we want to make it clear that it is a business tool. And so on this page, you can also represent your organization here with a clear logo and with a usage policy that's appropriate for your organization. So that's kind of the landing page, the home experience for the new Yammer. Next, what I want to do is dive into some specific Yammer communities. I'm going to jump in now to our Leadership Connection community. Leadership Connection communities are a very common type of community used within Yammer to help leaders and employees connect with each other, enable employees to ask questions of leadership, and enable leadership to help reinforce the culture they want within an organization. So as I land in this community, one of the first things you'll notice is this rich new cover photo. This cover photo really helps set the tone for this community and ground you in the purpose of what this community is for. And that is one of the new tools that we've provided for community managers within the new Yammer. So as we were designing the new Yammer, one of the important roles that we thought about in your organization was that of community manager. We really wanted to empower them to help drive the use and health of communities within your organizations. So this first tool here lets them help brand these communities. But I want to talk about a couple of the other capabilities that we've given these community managers. The second is, one of the things you can do now in the new Yammer is pin conversations to the top of a community. So here you can see an example. This conversation has been pinned, which means that every time somebody comes back to this community, it's always on top. So perhaps you have a special announcement you want everybody to see. You have a question you want everybody to participate in. This is a great way to give it more visibility. And you can pin and unpin items right here as a community manager. A second tool that we've given community managers is the ability to close a conversation. So perhaps there's a conversation that's gone on for a while, or the question has been fully answered, and it doesn't require further conversation. As a community manager, you can go in and you can close a conversation. And what that means is the conversation is still there, it's preserved, but it's closed for further commenting. Lastly, every once in a while, you might have somebody within your organization that maybe doesn't follow the best practices on how to participate in Yammer. If you wish, you can choose to enable the ability to report a conversation. So if a user sees a conversation that they think is maybe a little bit off the rails, they can click on report a conversation. They can provide a reason why they think this conversation might not meet your company's standards. And that'll send something to whoever you designate to review and determine what to do next. So those are some of the new tools for community managers. Let's talk about end users participating in this community. So this is the new, what we call our publishing experience within Yammer. And we really wanted to make it evident that there's different types of content you can create in Yammer. You can, of course, click on here and create a new conversation, but you can also ask questions. You can give praise to someone. You can create a poll, all of those directly within this experience. So if I wanted to ask a question, I could click on here, and you actually get this nice WYSIWYG experience previewing what your question is going to look like in the feed after you post it. Similarly, for creating a praise within Yammer. Praise is, by the way, a great way to create a positive reinforcing culture within your organization to publicly use praises within Yammer. You can also create polls within this experience, asking a question, providing multiple answers, and then soliciting the community. We've also provide the full ability to edit, have rich text within whatever you post. So maybe I want to post, a suggestion to the leader of my organization here. Hey, I think the whole company should get raises. All right. And so here I can bold this. I can italicize this if I want to emphasize something for these 3 reasons. And of course, I can create a bulleted list. We've exceeded profits, dollar. But this really lets me express myself in a very rich way. The new Yammer Publisher experience also lets me add attachments. Here it's actually showing suggested attachments, documents that I've been working on across Office 365. So another point of integration across the suite. Of course, local attachments and GIFs. Lastly, if I'm a community manager, anything I post in this community, I can mark as an announcement. And when I mark that as an announcement, what that does is it ensures that all community members get notified of this new conversation. So they'll receive a notification in the Yammer Mobile app, they'll receive a notification in the Yammer web app. If they don't see those notifications after some time, they'll also get a email notification in their inbox. So it really enables Yammer to be used as a tool to reach all of your employees widely. Now, speaking of reaching all of your employees widely, one of the long-standing capabilities within Yammer is the all-company community. But what we've really done is turn this into a more effective channel for company communication. So first of all, just like other communities, you can now brand this at the top. So really make this reflect your organization's brand. Second, you can actually now rename this all company community. And so you can rename it to reflect how you want this community used. Third, you will be able to set who can post and start new conversations in all community. So maybe you want to use all community as more of a news or an announcement channel where you post company news to the entire organization. You let employees comment, you let them react and participate, but you kind of want to manage the conversation here. Well, you can do that now with the new capabilities that are in all company. Lastly, with a connected all company group, you'll also be able to host live events in this community, which means that these live events are available and broadcast to your entire organization. And you might host one of these live events to have something like a employee or CEO town hall. So I want to talk a little bit more about this live events capability. And to do that, I'm going to jump back into our leadership connection community, where we have some past events. So here you see this events tab. I'm going to actually switch. Here's an upcoming event, but I'm going to go back and look at a past event here in our events tab. And here I've got one of our old company meetings. And the great thing about live events actually is you can either view these live when they're actually happening, or they're automatically preserved for your employees to go and find them later. So I'm going to go ahead and load this up. This is a live event that we had within our organization that happened previously. And what this does is it really lets you ask questions of leadership before, during, and after an event. So you can see here with our video going, I can also go participate in a conversation. And so here we've got all the conversations that happened during that live event. This one is a question, and that question had a couple answers, and it had a best answer marked. So let me talk about best answer for a second. So the question type in Yammer is a new type that really encourages participation and encourages your organization to help people actually get their answers through Yammer. And often, you'll have multiple answers to a question. Somebody will post something and there's 10 different ideas or 10 different suggestions. But one of those often is a much better answer than the rest, and is something that you really want to preserve for the long term. And so the best answer capability allows you to take one of those answers, and either as a community manager or the person who asked the question to start with, mark it as a best answer so that it really appears at the top, and people who go view or search or find this content later really have clear insight into what the best answer was for that question. And these questions and answers, by the way, they're great to use both, of course, during live events, but also in communities where you might be sharing knowledge or best practices with each other. So here you can see, the set of questions that was asked during this event. We also offer some tools for those who might be managing the event to be able to kind of view these conversations in different ways. So I can see all the conversations, comments, or questions. Maybe I just want to see the questions that were asked, or maybe I just want to look and see, are there any unanswered questions? Looks like there aren't in this company meeting. They answered them all. That's great. But if there was an unanswered question here, then I, as a community manager, could go in, help make sure that that employee's question got answered. But what about your mobile device? Well, with the Yammer app for Android and iOS, you can collaborate and contribute with your team and across the organization, even when you're on the go. You can share ideas, you can work together, and you can engage in live events and communication with your leadership through Yammer communities right on your phone. So let me walk you through what that new Yammer mobile experience looks like. This is the new Yammer mobile experience. Simple, beautiful, and clean, just like the web experience I showed you. When you first jump into Yammer Mobile, you land in a personalized feed, which brings together conversations and announcements from across my communities. You click into My Communities to get a full list of the communities you care about. You can also create and join additional ones from here. Here you can see heart icons, which show the communities that are my favorite, which I pinned to the top for quick access. But what I'm going to do now is jump into the safety community to see what's happening. You can see in this community a rich cover photo at the top and the conversations below. So this safety community is a community that's used in order to share information about workplace safety issues with each other and ask questions related to safety. But I noticed within my organization, I noticed a safety violation that's worth sharing. So I can go in and I want to create a new post and I want to share feedback with my organization about the safety violation. I could ask a question, I could share a poll or praise, but today I actually want to use the new mobile video sharing experience to capture a live moment and share it directly into the safety community to help my organization learn. So I'm going to click on Record a Video, and that brings me into a new video recording experience that lets me instantly capture my video. I can write on this video, I can add text, and then once I create and save this video, I can trim and edit it as needed before I post it in order to create more visually powerful content. And then once I've edited, once I've shared, once I've written on it, I can easily share it directly into the community to get everybody's feedback on this potential safety violation. So this video sharing is really perfect for leaders who want to share their top of mind, for sharing learning moments and training, for introducing new employees to your company, and for really just creating this sense of authenticity and sharing these authentic moments with my colleagues. So I've shown you the new Yammer experience on both the mobile and the web. This new user experience has a fluent design. It enables users to favorite their community. It really features a single relevant machine learning powered feed. The experience has been enhanced for community managers and corporate comms with features like organizational branding, cover photos, and pin posts. It enables leadership engagement through video, either through live events or short videos recorded on mobile. And lastly, it's an engaging experience with a modern publisher experience for editing and forming your conversations, new treatments visually for questions, polls, praises, and photos, and integrates more deeply with Office through features like recently used files. So I've shown this Yammer experience in the Yammer mobile app and on web. But next, I want to talk about how we're bringing these Yammer superpowers to the rest of the Office 365 suite. We're bringing Yammer to the familiar apps that we all spend time in working every day to make it easier to stay on top of your conversations while staying in the rhythm of how you work. Integration with Outlook lets you read, like, and reply to Yammer conversations within your Outlook inbox. Yammer can be integrated with Microsoft Teams as an app in the left rail, providing easy and quick access to Yammer within the hub for teamwork. And the updated Yammer web part in SharePoint brings the features and the design of the new Yammer, including things like questions and answers, to help you power a more social intranet and bring discussions alongside other content in SharePoint, like sites, pages, files, and other web parts. So let me walk you through these integrations. Here I have a SharePoint site that is really targeted for my best practices community within the sales organization. And this SharePoint site is designed to bring together content that I might have. So things like training resources, things like blog posts, documents, etc., together with the conversations that are happening in the sales best practices community in Yammer. So here in the middle here, you can see the new updated SharePoint web part for Yammer. This matches our new design, but it's also a fully featured Yammer Conversations experience. So if I click in here, I can create new conversations, I can ask questions, I can have rich text in this conversation, add attachments, add GIFs, everything I might want to do in a Yammer community, I can do right here within the context of this SharePoint site. Of course, I can also see best answers. I can mark answers as best. I can like things. Really just a fully functional experience, bringing together the power of conversations in Yammer with the rich content that you can have in SharePoint. Yammer communities can also be integrated into Microsoft Teams, and that can be done in two ways. Last year, we shipped the ability to add Yammer communities as a tab within Teams, adding it as a community that might be associated with a team within your organization. So in this example, we have a corporate communications team, and they're the team that really manages the leadership community. And so they've added in their general channel here a tab for the leadership connection community, so they can view what's going on in that community and respond to it easily. If they see something they want to discuss further, they can share it back to their team's channel for further discussion. But this is a capability we've had in Yammer now for about a year. We really, though, wanted to provide full access to your communities within Microsoft Teams. And you can see on the left here that there's the ability to pin Yammer as communities on the left rail of Teams, at the same place that you see entry points to your files and calls and calendar and chat. So if I click on this experience, what I'm going to get here really is a full-featured Yammer Communities experience that I can interact with anytime that I'm in Teams. We've already rolled out this experience for Teams Desktop, and it's also coming soon for your Teams mobile users as well. Lastly, within your organization, you probably have many users who live and work in Outlook all day. And we really want to be able to reach these users with the announcements that you create in Yammer and enable them to interact with Yammer Conversations without leaving their Outlook inbox. So you can now interact directly with Yammer Conversations directly in Outlook. Here I'm showing the experience in Outlook Web, and it's coming to Outlook Desktop soon as well. So in this case here, I've got an email that I received to Yammer that was a question in a community that I'm participating in. And you can see how that question is represented here, just like I showed you in the main Yammer web experience. I can like and unlike it. It's fully interactive. I can see the best answer. And even if I want, I can go ahead and comment, maybe provide a new comment or answer directly to this question right here in Outlook, but posting that back into Yammer. So we think this is really powerful as well for company-wide and executive announcements. So, you know, how often does an executive send an email to the entire organization? And of course, you don't want to reply all. You don't want that going into everybody's inbox. But you want to have some sort of engagement, employee participation in that announcement and a way to react. And with the Yammer integration in Outlook, that really gives you a way to do that. So in this case, we have an executive that is recognizing the volunteer work of their employees and sent that out as an announcement. When I receive that as an employee, of course, I can go like this. I can view all of the comments with the video and other content that might have been posted. But it really just gives me a way to react and participate without violating kind of the social rules of email. So I've shown how your end users can experience the new Yammer, not only in the primary Yammer experience, but also across the entire Office 365 suite. Now I want to talk about some of the benefits in the new Yammer for IT. Organizations can now better manage compliance on Yammer with e-discovery, data governance, and centralized administration of Yammer within the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. These capabilities enable you to manage the compliance of Yammer really in the same way that you manage compliance across the rest of the suite for Teams, for email, and for SharePoint. So let's dig into that. Native mode is a capability that enables you to enable compliance within Yammer. And what it does is it ensures that all of your users, groups, and content in your Yammer network are backed by Microsoft 365. This is actually now the default state for any new customers who join Yammer. And we provide a tool, something called the Native Mode Alignment Tool, to help existing organizations move from their current state into Yammer Native Mode. And the benefits of Native Mode for IT are, first of all, efficiency. It enables you to manage your Yammer communities and users just like you do for other Microsoft 365 services, using Azure Active Directory users and using Microsoft 365 groups. Secondly, native mode ensures that all of your files are stored in SharePoint, which means that they're subject to the existing SharePoint governance policies and are enabled by SharePoint search. Third, for IT, native mode is what unlocks compliance, including e-discovery through the Compliance Center. Now, for end users, native mode really helps ensure a consistent experience across all communities in Yammer with deeper integrations in Microsoft 365. So it enables live events to happen in all of your communities. It enables richer teams and SharePoint integrations. And of course, the broader kind of file discovery and file organization capabilities of SharePoint. Once you enable native mode, e-discovery is now available to you in the M365 Security and Compliance Center, built on the same platform as the rest of the Microsoft 365 suite. And this means that you can discover Yammer content side by side with other workloads. With advanced e-discovery available with E5, you can reconstruct full conversations to match exactly what users saw in Yammer when you were searching for the content. Legal holds also now apply to Yammer conversation and files via SharePoint. And this is all based on the underlying infrastructure of Office 365 connected groups. In addition to e-discovery, through the Microsoft 365 Security and Compliance Center, you get the capabilities of enabling communication compliance on top of Yammer private messages and community conversations. And this uses machine learning to reason over using natural language capabilities to identify potential threats, for example, harm to oneself or others. And detecting this kind of language in a timely manner not only minimizes the impact and minimizes internal risk, but really can go a long way in supporting employee mental health in times like this. The last capability that you'll get through integration with the Security and Compliance Center that's enabled by Yammer native mode is data governance capabilities. And these capabilities enable you to have granular retention and deletion policies across communities and users. So you can set up these policies to indicate how long you want to keep content in Yammer or how long you want to delete that content. Lastly, within Yammer, we have the capability of local data residency. This means that you can choose whether your Yammer network is provisioned in the United States or is provisioned out of the EU when you're creating that network. And existing customers have the option to reprovision their networks from one location to the other. Okay, so I've talked about how with Yammer native mode, it enables new compliance capabilities for IT, so you can be confident in rolling out the new Yammer within your organization. So how do you get the new Yammer? Microsoft 365 admins can configure access to the new Yammer preview through the Yammer admin portal. They can enable that preview toggle I showed you earlier in the suite header and choose the default experience for your network. You can choose whether you want classic Yammer as the default or the new Yammer. And once enabled, people in your organization will be able to view the toggle to see the new experience. Currently, this is available only for home networks, meaning that you'll still see the classic Yammer experience in any external networks. And we're continuing to test and improve the new Yammer experience to make sure that it delivers the experience our customers expect. You can help participate by giving us feedback in the experience through the options in the upper right of the Office 365 toolbar. We're currently targeting worldwide availability of the new Yammer experience in July. And you can learn more about the preview, how to enable it, and get answers to your questions by going to the address on the screen. Let me take a minute here as we close out to talk about where are we going next as a product. Well, first, we're concentrating on delivering what you saw today, the new Yammer, data retention, SharePoint, Teams, and Outlook integration. Once we do that, we want to focus on making your deployment successful, bringing the new Yammer to external networks, providing external groups with support across geographies, and solving for more complex organizations. We're going to continue our focus on Yammer superpowers and enabling larger scale conversations and organizational-wide discoverability. These larger scale conversations we expect to get richer with things like nested replies and reactions capabilities. We want to reach your users, though, where they are. So in addition to the investments in SharePoint, Teams, and Outlook that I covered, you'll see us update the Yammer Embed experience so that you can bring Yammer into any of your websites that you might be running within your organization, whether those are on SharePoint or not. And lastly, the core value of Yammer is really around communities and in knowledge engagement and leadership. And this is where you'll see the core of our investments, making communities a more inviting place to participate within your organization, providing new capabilities for leadership and corporate comms to reach your employees, and taking the knowledge that's in Yammer, unlocking that out of just Yammer, and participating in the larger knowledge and Cortex efforts across Microsoft. Of course, we want to help your deployment of the new Yammer be successful. And so we've created a new Yammer adoption site that has an updated adoption guide with best practices for how to use Yammer and manage change within your organization. It also talks about how to host a live event in Yammer with a step-by-step playbook for best practices before, during, and after these events. And lastly, the Yammer Lookbook really gives a lot of great ideas on how to really use Yammer within your organizations, in communities, for knowledge sharing and for employee engagement. I want to thank you for your time today. We've walked through the new modern Yammer web and mobile experiences. We've talked about how Yammer powers experiences across Teams, SharePoint, and Outlook, and the capabilities that it provides for leaders, employees, corporate comms, community managers, and IT to drive organizational transformation. You can enable the new Yammer within your organization today for your employees to try these experiences and drive community, knowledge, and engagement. Thank you very much.